As we head towards eviction day, things are getting completely out of control in that house. There are two different sides of the house currently at war, each trying to secure numbers before the next HOH comp. There's a lot to get into, y'all, but before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button below just so you can stay up to date with live feed recaps throughout the season. And if you missed it, make sure you check out my last video just so you're up to date on that as well. Now, let's get started. So, like I was saying, when we last left off, there were two large alliances in the house, each one actively recruiting. There was Reilly's side, which is also known as family style, and then there was Cirie's side, which was starting to gain an edge in numbers. Now, this chart isn't set in stone because there are still people like Red, Cameron, Cory, and Luke who hover in the middle. At first, it really started to look like Red was inching towards Cirie's side. I mean, he sleeps in the same room as them and he doesn't really talk game to anybody else. But Red isn't all the way in yet, and he still leaks information to Cameron from time to time, so who knows where he really stands. In the meantime, Cirie and company have also been trying to recruit Cory over to their side.
Or I think the perception is, we know that you're not in the core, right? You're a number for them.
Right.
But that puts you in a good position because that gives you the decision, well, I'm not in the core, I only owe Reilly, so I can do business wherever I want to.
Cory is currently on Reilly's side, but he's also on the outs of that alliance, so it's not really a bad idea for him to start looking another direction. The only problem is Cory isn't really trusted by Cirie's side either, so he'd probably be on the outs there too. Hisam especially has this random hatred for Cory that's making it really hard for Cory to ease himself in here.
Out at the end anyway, right?
Ryan.
You know why I don't get his name right? It's because, like, subconsciously I hate him.
So for now, it's kind of also hard to say where Cory truly stands too. And then we have Luke, who literally did not even realize the game had already begun playing until day 5. Literally nobody had been talking any game to Luke like at all. People were really starting to notice that he was a free agent, so Jared was actually the first one to go up to Luke and talk game to him, extend that olive branch, and try to recruit him over.
But it's like, on that circle, do I feel as if I'm in, or do I feel like I'm just one of the people they just dragging along to throw away? You know what I mean? And
I feel that way, honestly, in some
right?
cases, you know.
Sometimes it feels like you just there for the ride.
And it was mostly today. Like, I felt it a little yesterday, day before maybe. And now it's really, like, feeling rough. I'm like, I feel targeted.
Jared is kind of questioning Luke about his game, trying to suss him out, you know, when all of a sudden Luke just has this epiphany about how on the outs he truly is. The next day, he gets up to have a conversation with Cirie and Izzy, and I think this combo is what's really gonna nudge Luke over to their side.
I know, I'm freaking laying in bed just like, I was like this, you gotta be kidding, like I'm relaying everything and it's clicking. It's just like that stupid puzzle game they're playing. Everything's falling into place.
That's crazy.
And it's just like, wow, I thought I was going cuckoo.
I'm glad that you're seeing it now.
And I appreciate the olive branch. I appreciate, you know, the gesture.
So that's where those three stragglers kind of stand. Now, Reilly's alliance, family style, has many loose ends. The biggest one being Jared, who we know is really a spy for the other side. Another one is Cory, who I mentioned before is skeptical of them and more in the middle. And then there's Cameron. Oh God, Cameron. So Cameron was in a decent position in this family style alliance until he started seeing all the cracks and weak spots within it. Cameron then started feeding info over to the other side in attempts to flip over.
And on that note, they tried to play so hard so fast. I don't think that Reilly had any intention whenever she pulled specifically down Jared and Cory. But I will tell you right now, when she tried to rope them in, they're not dumb. I am closest to Cory and I am closest to Jared, and I think that they're solid fucking people that are gonna, with the two of them, will flip the entire house from cool kids to gone kids.
Now that Cameron's starting to flip, things are starting to look pretty bleak for Reilly, but wait, it gets weirder. So after ratting out the entire family-style alliance, giving away their plans, and single-handedly ruining Reilly's game, you'd think that Cameron would start to distance himself from Reilly just a little bit because he's becoming an op, right? Wrong. In fact, Cameron actually does the exact opposite. Cameron goes right up to Reilly and just straight up tells her that he ratted her and her entire alliance out. He then instructs her to pretty much go up to Cirie and beg for her forgiveness and for a spot on the other side.
If you trust me, I want you to specifically seek out Cirie. And I want you to sit down with her, and I want you to tell her, dead honest, what it was that we were doing, because I didn't leave a lick out with her.
Now, even though manipulation is normal in a game like this, Cameron got a lot of flack because of just how weird and honestly kind of creepy he was with the whole thing. Like, he'd give her these kind of weird compliments about her appearance and then turn around and compare her to his daughter.
And I love Reilly. Good God Almighty. And I'm weird about the way that I feel because she reminds me of my kid.
But you know what?
Fucking weird.
But you know what? Like, maybe I'm a cold ass bitch, but I don't care.
But then turn around and call her things like good girl and give her hugs that are way too long.
Hug. I know. That's what I do.
I don't know. I mean, Cameron has given a lot of people the ick since the beginning of the game. Izzy has compared him to a serial killer multiple times and called him a creep, which at first I didn't think was very nice, and then he started doing these creepy things, and now I'm just like, ugh, be careful, Reilly.
I can't hit you on TV, so I'm not gonna do that.
At this point, I don't know what Reilly's next move is other than to pray that one of the 3 people still truly left on her side win this next HOH. There are some loose ends in Cirie's alliance too, which are now calling themselves the Professors. The biggest problem is probably Izzy, who is completely chaotic, honestly a hot mess, and is quickly becoming a huge target for that other side.
There's someone who's going to lead that brigade over there. It's going to be Izzy, and Izzy's going to recruit Luke, which I think she already has. Like, Izzy's not trying to talk to me and like support me. Izzy's trying to talk to me to get information.
Izzy has been scrambling around the house and has been very obvious in her attempts to recruit people, and it's not going unnoticed. Hisam is also in a lot of trouble here because everybody thinks that he's actually the ringleader for this side, so I'm pretty sure he's most people's #1 target. Overall, things are still going to be pretty shaky until we see who wins this next HOH. Also, within these big alliances, there are smaller groups of like 2 to 4 people that are all working together and have little side alliances going on, but these are just the main 2 for now. As of now, Kirsten is still set to be going home. She has been campaigning a little bit, but she's not really armed with the information or the game knowledge that she needs to be able to save herself, unfortunately. That is about where everything stands in the house right now. Of course, I want to know, what do you all think of this wild first week in the game? And whose side do you think you'd be on if you were in the house? Would you want to roll with the Professors, or would you want to be with family style instead? Let me know in the comments below. I cannot wait till eviction day this Thursday, and especially I cannot wait to see who's going to be the next HOH, because that is really going to solidify where a lot of things stand in this house. Of course, I'll be back to update you all if anything else big happens, but until next time, bye.